welcome to another episode of Worst Collection Ever. This is the show where we tell you about the worst comic book collection in existence. And it just happens to belong to us. I'm Jen.
I'm Sean.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, you know.
We're back.
We're back.
Yeah, we took a week off. Well, not really, technically. I mean,
You did a thing.
I put out my thing. I talked about
Tigra?
Tigra.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun.
Is that a trip?
Yeah. She's got a new action figure coming out. Hopefully I can find it.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. I like
Guises.
Tigra. Yeah, sure. Ladies is.
Yeah. Ladies is, yes.
Girls is.
Girls is, but they're technically a guises.
They're all guyses.
They're all guyses.
So she you could check that out prior to this episode. But we're back. Did not see Venom.
No, we haven't seen Venom yet. Hopefully this weekend.
We had a pretty busy weekend because we cleaned out our attic.
Yeah, we cleaned out the attic and the garage. We actually got a dumpster and threw away a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So that's what we spent our weekend doing.
We found all your Barbie stuff.
My Barbie stuff, yeah. It was all up in the attic, which is very exciting. We bought new totes, so now they are in a nice container instead of a shitty one. But yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of dust and dirt and throwing things and
Throwing things. Ah!
We threw away branches. We threw away garden shit. I mean, from the backyard, it was kind of cathartic to get rid of a lot of stuff that we don't need. So.
It is. Well, actually, I'm pretty happy because there's a corner in our garage that is like a workspace. Mm-hmm. It's kind of small, it was something that your dad used, and it was filled with all sorts of stuff, that
old shit.
A lot. I mean, there's some stuff
nails,
a lot of
soldering iron. Name it.
The soldering iron actually is pretty.
Oh no,
cool.
Definitely keep it because I mean, soldering irons are good, but I mean, that's the kind of shit that's over there, like old light bulbs and name it.
A lot of bike stuff.
Something about working.
Did your dad ride a bike a lot?
No, but he had we used to ride bikes a lot. Me and my sister did.
But there's stuff there that was it's instead of just being I bought a bike pump, and that's all you need. There's tubing.
Yeah, because he would fix our tires.
This really minute things.
Yeah, so my dad we would ride bikes a lot. My sister and I all the time, all summer long.
As you would when you're
when you're a kid, especially around here we'd ride to the park, whatever. But there's thorns and shit, so we'd get thorns in the tire, we'd get flat tires, whatever. So my dad would patch them, and so he'd sit out there with that oil pan filled with water and try to figure out where the hole was, and then he'd patch it, and then he'd put it back in. So yeah, he had tubing and all sorts of. I mean, just you name it, he had it.
There was a lot of stuff there that I was
why is there so much bike shit?
So much bike shit.
We really used to ride them a lot, so
yeah,
it makes sense.
But stuff that a bike shop would have.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But so there's that, and there's just your dad's got had this. I'm not gonna give it to Goodwill because maybe I think somebody might want it because you feel like there's classic car people out there. But there's it's an RPM.
Oh yeah, I don't know what to do with that
or something like that.
I have no idea. It's from when you could work on cars. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we did that. So that's what we ended up doing. We cleaned a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Good times. I've also been, it's October.
Yay.
So this is our first episode of October.
Spooky season. We put up the Halloween decorations and I could not be happier.
Yes, we put up the Halloween decorations.
No giant skeleton.
No, but we do have a giant inflatable ghost.
We do. And,
cool.
and he does actually look pretty cool. He's light up and he looks like he's menacing. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's pretty neat and pretty nice to have that. I think our setup is pretty cool. We just need to fine tune some things a little bit, but other than that, we're good.
Yeah. Spooky season, my favorite. We've been trying to watch horror movies.
Yeah. So far.
Has not been great.
Has not been good.
No, it's been shitty.
And I haven't really planned it out, but it's in the sense that I'm okay, if I watch a horror movie a day in October, I'll pick stuff that's, that I think that I maybe want to see. I tend to pick stuff that I haven't seen before, just because I just like to have a fresh perspective on things.
Yeah.
But I like to pick older stuff too.
Well, I love an 80s horror movie, so.
Yeah, stuff from the 80s, maybe the 90s or whatever. I have a tendency to pick those sort of things. And so far, I see. Let's see. So far, it's the 6th.
It's the 6th. We haven't watched one today. We got to do that after we're finished.
We're gonna do that, but then let's see. The first we watched we watched American Werewolf in London
for We Hate Movies.
And We Hate Movies, and American Werewolf in Paris for We Hate Movies.
Right. So we did that.
So I counted that.
So those are 2.
Days. Third day we watched The Fog.
It was okay.
The Fog is pretty good. It's a John Carpenter classic.
Yeah.
So I watched The Fog.
Adrienne Barbeau,
the voice of Catwoman.
Our buddy Tom Atkins.
Yes, Tom Atkins just
Idol.
Just always like
hero
running around with road sodas.
Oh my God, so much drinking. That's the kind of guy who plays in every role. He is a legend.
He gets into trouble with random women.
Yeah, he's a legend. We love him.
He is a legend.
He's an absolute legend. I enjoy whenever I see Tom Atkins on my screen. I'm happy. Yeah. So yay.
So we watched that. So that's pretty good. And then there was a Monday night. Let's see, today's Wednesday. So Monday we watched.
Oh, that stupid movie.
Pledge Night,
that was my fault because it was from the 80s, and it was about a bunch of fraternity dudes pledging and like getting murdered, and I was like, this is right up my fucking alley. It had the guy from Anthrax. It
had Anthrax songs. And the singer from Anthrax.
Yes, so it had the guy from Anthrax in it, and then it was all the soundtrack was Anthrax, and I'm like, holy shit, this movie. How have I never seen it? This is exactly for me. Mm-hmm. And then I watched it, and I was like, this movie is stupid and boring. Yeah. It was boring. I think we were like, no one died in it until like the very end. I'm like, where's the blood? Where's the killing?
It's one of those movies. Yeah, it's one of those movies where like everything happens in the last like 30 minutes.
Yeah, and then getting there, you're just like, I mean, okay.
Like getting there, it's all about like fucking, pledging us a fraternity
and like doing fraternity shit, like carrying a cherry with your ass cheek.
I watched that stuff, and I understand there's stuff that's good for fraternities.
Yeah.
That or good, the good because of fraternities.
Sure, I guess.
Definitely it's a. If I was a more social person,
oh, never.
Maybe I would consider it more. I was actually recruited by a fraternity.
What fraternity?
Oh, I can't remember.
I Eat a Pie.
Was
it like an academic fraternity?
I think it was more. I think it was academic.
Because they do have some fraternities are like strictly focused on academics, and you don't get those like weird basically it's not like what's that fucking movie? The fraternity movie that everybody loves, like super famous.
Dead Poet Society?
No.
Oh, Animal House?
Yes, Animal House. That's it.
I was trying to think of fraternity movies.
Yeah. So there are ones that are like strictly focused on like an activity or whatever. Like, my friend Susie was actually in a fraternity.
Or sorority.
No, it was a fraternity because they didn't have a sorority, but it was strictly because she was in marching band. Okay. So it was strictly for marching band kids at her thing, but it was a fraternity. So every girl, like she was Brother Susie. Yeah. So because it was just co-ed and it was just a fraternity. Interesting. Yeah. But it was just for like marching band kids to like hang out and like do marching band things.
Yeah. No, I think it was kind of, so I was recruited because it was like academic thing. Like they want to give money to you for some reason.
No. You should have taken that.
Well, I did. I applied for the thing, you know, and whatever, tried to get it, and didn't work because I can't remember because I didn't want to join the fraternity or they just didn't pick me.
Yeah.
But it was something that I always remember that they gave me they gave you like a list, they give you like a literature or whatever about it, and in it tells you about. I think I probably explained this on the show before, but it talks about things they don't do in terms of hazing.
Oh, okay.
To specify that they, it's like we do not do this, we do not do that.
Yeah.
And it was just something about like dropping food into mouths.
Ew.
And and then they put examples, and one of them was like liver.
Raw liver.
I assume.
And to see that's when like.
It was very specific.
Yeah, but when shit like that starts happening, I'm just like, there is nothing in this world that makes me want to belong to a group so badly that I would put up with hazing. On purpose.
Yeah.
On purpose. Like, you're purposely doing this. You are going to a school and paying money for it. Like, and you're letting these dudes, tie strings with cement blocks to your dick and throw them off a fucking bridge. Like, why? Never.
Yeah.
There's nothing that makes me want there. I don't care how bad I want to be your friend. I do not want to be that badly. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I have never understood that part. I could have seen myself like joining a sorority if it was like academically focused or like, it's focused on writing. This is the writing sorority and we're just a bunch of writers and basically it's like a writing workshop. Uh-huh. I could totally see myself joining something like that. But I cannot see myself joining the kind where I'm like, I have to wear a certain clothing. I have to weigh a certain amount. I have to, you know what I mean? Like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of intensity that goes.
It's
into
too much.
At least that's how they say it was, but I still think it probably is in certain regards.
Yeah.
At certain places, I'm sure. I'm sure they're just like, oh yeah, we don't do this. We totally do it.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah, so I wanted to see like killing, and I was really excited because I was like, okay, finally, like, because they have this weird fraternity brother who is like going through a mental breakdown apparently.
Well, the idea is that so for every year during the Hell Week or during the pledge drive, there was supposed to be that they designated a brother or one of the brothers is like acts like he's mentally ill.
Oh, okay.
And has like this thing, so they kind of did this thing. Like at one point they did a thing where it's like, oh, he stabbed me.
And that's what I was like, oh shit, like we're really gonna get into it. Here we go. And so he like gets up from the table, he like stabs this dude. I'm like, oh fuck, like it's on. This guy's gonna escape. He's gonna start killing. Like that's what I thought was gonna happen. He was just gonna start knocking off these pledges one by one. Oh no, it was a joke.
No.
And then here's another hour of them just like picking up chairs with their butts.
Yeah. But basically what ends up happening is that there was a person that died during a pledge because they accidentally put him into a bathtub full of acid, which was...
Where the fuck do you get enough acid to fill a bathtub?
That wasn't explained.
Okay, I'm just, these are the questions we ask.
That ends up being Joey Belladonna, the singer of Anthrax.
Yeah.
And he comes back and like possesses like that crazy guy, the one that's acting crazy because it turns out he actually is crazy because he's possessed.
Oh.
And
does he sing Anthrax songs?
No, you just hear the Anthrax songs.
Yeah.
Sadly, there's no
singing involved.
No Got the Time or Indians or NFL.
Yeah.
He and so he goes around terrorizing everybody in this house and whatever, and and then eventually it comes out that one of the pledges was actually his son, and then that's
okay.
He disappears.
So wait, he had a kid and he was still pledging a sorority or fraternity?
Well, no, he probably not. I think he knocked up.
Well, that's what I mean. Like
a girl who didn't. I mean, he didn't. He was still, but he didn't know. Probably, maybe I think it was because the girl. Whatever.
I get it.
It's a backstory that doesn't really matter.
Ugh.
Because really, a lot of times in this movie, you just want to see people get picked off, and you don't.
Right, and that was really disappointing. So we watched that, and I was very sad because I thought, wow, that's gonna be great. And then last night I watched
Howling 4.
How was that?
The original Nightmare. Well, I guess this book or this movie is what the original Howling was supposed to be because it's based off of a book.
Okay.
And there's like three Howling books.
Okay.
And I guess this fourth movie is what is made based off of these books. Because there's like Satan and stuff, and Catholic shit, and like God stuff, and like a town full of werewolf people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not good.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's funny because there's these guys in there. Like for some reason, the main leads. They have these voices like this, and like, hey,
that's awful.
I'm in this werewolf movie, like they sound like that because it's like I think it's a South African production of sorts.
Okay.
Because it was filmed in South Africa, so I'm assuming that's somewhere where the movie money may have came from.
Sure, yeah.
So,
That's that emerald mine money.
Yeah.
Fucking Elon Musk has.
So they, so the premise is that this woman who's a writer, she's a suspense writer.
Uh-huh.
And she's in L.A. Mm-hmm. And she goes to see her agent, who talks like this.
Mm.
And all of a sudden she starts having these visions about nuns and werewolves on fire.
Just like randomly, or did she do something?
Just randomly. It also just starts where she just has. Like,
it wasn't like she moved into a new apartment.
No, she just goes into like a building and like on Sunset, and all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, there's a nun there." Oh, I guess not.
That's dumb.
I'm terrified.
Usually something has to trigger visions.
Yeah, well, we didn't see that.
They just happen.
So then,
was she like always someone who could see visions?
No, I didn't get the impression
that was not in the movie. If it was,
it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't clarified.
That's dumb.
So all of a sudden, she has a mental breakdown, and then her husband, who also talks like this, decides
gruff man movie
decides to take her to this random town in California, like basically, like Big Bear.
Yeah.
But like with less people.
Well, back then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, probably guess back then.
Yeah.
So they go up to this place, and they're in this cabin and whatever, and she starts hearing howling, and then there's
the howling?
It was. I think you could call it the titular.
I was going to say, was it the titular howling?
She went. It's oh my god! It's the howling. But what happens? This is so. There's like people like the people in the town are being shady or whatever, and just whatever. It's just dumb bullshit. But at one point, some random woman, because everybody seems to know that this writer, even though it's in the 80s and like, you didn't have like social media and ways that people could find this stuff out.
Uh-huh.
Even then, it still should have been pretty secretive, but people find out that this woman is staying in this cabin. And at one point, this woman who is just like, hey, I was staying, she shows up and she's like, hey, I was staying in like this hotel like nearby or motel or whatever. And I heard I'm a big fan of yours, so I decided to come and visit you at this secluded cabin. And then the woman who's the writer, she's just like, "Oh yeah, come on in. Let's have some coffee." And then she's just talking about,
what year was this?
1990. I think 89, 90.
Wow, that's still a surprise. Because I was going to say, like, if this was like 1972, I'd be like, people were weird back then. They just let anybody in their house. Fucking door-to-door salesmen. People would just come in like that. But now, there's no fucking way. I'm not letting fucking anybody in.
No, I don't. I'm terrified when anybody shows up.
I don't let anybody in unless I know you're coming.
If I know, as long as you're bringing me food,
right,
or mail,
sure.
I don't want to see you at my house.
Yeah, unless you have an invite.
Yes.
And I know you're coming. Don't come over.
Yeah, I don't like anybody coming over.
Well, no.
I don't like you.
I gotta clean shit if you're gonna come over, man. And that's a lot of work.
Don't bring the howling with you.
Don't bring the howling. Give me a heads up so I can at least make sure the bathroom is in some sort of working order.
Right.
I've always got to make sure I clean something.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's fair.
I mean, people probably think I'm nuts with that, but you've seen my mother's house. Literally, it's immaculate, literally spotless.
Yeah.
Ours is fine, but it's not that fucking clean, and it never will be. So
it could always be cleaner.
It could always be cleaner. Like, I hate dusting. My mom like dusts like once a day. I just don't know what else she does with her time. So she gets pissy because I'm just like, tell me when you're coming over so I can make sure I clean the house.
Yeah. Tidy up a bit.
Tidy up a bit. So it's like you think I'm constantly in this state of, because it's usually very clean in here, but it's not that clean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And she gets mad because I expect her to tell me when she's coming over and she just wants to drop by. Anyway, that was a tangent.
Well.
No howling from my mother.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Your mom would not be happy because there's mom. It was like, mom, there's werewolves outside. It's like, yeah, well, let me clean up first.
Yeah.
But
before you come in, Mr. Werewolf, we got to clean.
Yeah. So at the end of the movie, this woman's husband like turns into a pile of goo, which I guess is like the prelude to turning into a werewolf. Like it kind of like an American Werewolf in London. Like you see the transformation, and it's really
but that's usually what happens with all werewolves. You turn into goo in this movie.
That's what happens. This guy just turned into like a gooey skeleton, but then all of a sudden he was also like became a werewolf.
That's not how werewolves work. I mean,
I don't know. Apparently, it was in the book.
We have fast zombies and gelatinous werewolves now.
Gelatinous werewolves.
Yeah, so I'm
Jello werewolf.
I wasn't really paying attention to that movie. I'm glad I missed the Jello werewolf. I'm looking forward to whatever we pick tonight. I'm hoping it's going to be fun. I'm hoping we can
maybe you should pick something.
Well, if you let me pick something, we're going to end up watching like Ghost Boat or whatever the fuck that thing was.
Fine, we'll watch Ghost Boat then.
Oh, it looks so bad.
Oh.
But what if it's great?
I don't know.
It can't be. It looks so terrible, but it also looks great.
I want to find a movie. There's a movie called Devil Dog from the 70s, and it's about Satan's dog.
Okay, I was like, it's not that weird fucking RV movie, is it? That we watched at the New
No, that's
Beverly?
Race with the Devil.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that was kind of boring.
It wasn't terrible, but it was boring. It was one of those like
It's
not
one of those
enough
movies that
gore.
were like, if you're like an auteur, like if you're really into film, like you go, oh my god, this movie's great.
Yeah, but when I'm watching a horror movie, I'm not sitting there being like, oh my god, I look at the mastery of the acting and whatever. I just want to see people's heads get cut off
Chump.
and lots of blood. That's what I'm looking for in a horror movie. Hence why I love the movie Death Spa. It is not a cinematic masterpiece, but it's dumb as fuck, and I love it.
It certainly is. We'll get to watching that.
I hope so.
Yeah. So that's what we're up to. That's what's going on with the horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably hear more about the movies we watch next week.
Yeah.
So, let's take a break, and we'll come back with our book for this week.
Stellar Studios presents an Into the Weird and a World on Fire production.
Starring in alphabetical order,
Brainwave Jr.,
Fury,
Jade,
Northwind,
Nuklon,
Obsidian,
The Silver Scarab.
The Star-Spangled Kid.
These are the members of Infinity Inc., the protégés and children of the legendary Justice Society.
Created by Roy Thomas, Jerry Ordway, and Mike Macklin, their 1980s adventures are chronicled at last by Herman Lowe and Billy D., two podcasters with way too much time on their hands, but dedicated to analyzing, glorifying, and sometimes vilifying the stories from the team's first series.
So hop in your Star Rocket Racer, switch on the radio, and let's rediscover the Earth 2 we'd all like to go back to. Star Rocket Radio, an Infinity Inc. podcast, soaring through the potosphere since September 2021.
All right, we're back here in Worst Collection Ever with our book for this week. It is World's Finest, number 81 from April 1956.
Oh, that is right. 1956. This is coming out of that Batman in the 50's trade.
Yeah.
That I got when we were in Buffalo.
Yeah, we did kind of prelude that we were going to do something out of this book, and you happened to read this and seemed to enjoy it, so I think...
Well, I thought it was very dumb.
Of course.
As most of these are. I think that we could chat about it. So, yeah. This is probably not the only thing we'll do from this book, but,
Yeah, but so it's from the Batman in the 50's trade paperback, and on the cover of this particular issue, you've got Batman, Superman, and Robin looking at this guy in a golden... He looks like he's gold, and he's in a floating chair, and he's like, I, Cathar, of 5956 have the whole truth about you in this book, including your secret identities, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, Dick Grayson. And it says, featuring the true the true history of Superman and Batman.
And when I first saw him, who is the character, and I always forget this guy's name, who's the character who like floats around in a chair?
Metron?
Yeah. I was like, oh shit, is this Metron? It's not Metron.
No,
we're way out from him, but I was like, ooh, and then I was like, no.
We're still like 15 years out from that.
Which is sad. Because that would have been cool.
It was Secret's first appearance. So got floating chair guy.
Yeah. Maybe this is like backdoor Metron.
Backdoor Metron.
This, like, you know how they do backdoor pilots sometimes on TV shows?
Yeah.
This is backdoor Metron.
Yeah, that was the whole intention. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do like on this cover here of Batman and with Superman and Batman and Robin. Robin just looks like he's doing the half-assed Orange Cassidy thumbs up.
Oh, that's exactly what he's doing.
He's just kind of like, eh.
He's like, I cannot be bothered to react to what's happening in front of me.
So, so it's the true history of Superman and Batman, and the premise is that, because, you know, it's like in the 50s, in these 50s and 60s comics, they would do like the first page, and they would have like, you know, our first couple pages would be like,
kind of in the middle of the story.
Telling you what's in the middle of the story. And so you see Superman flying with a building, an entire building,
whole building, a jail actually.
No, an orphanage.
Oh, I thought it was a jail.
So Superman's carrying the orphanage.
You know what? Batman has the jail, but I'm gonna think that it was much more interesting if Superman had the jail.
He's just like, come on, prisoners, let's go for a ride.
Let's go to the zoo. I think.
Let's go. Just put you behind more bars.
Oh man, double bar.
So, Superman's flying with this orphanage, which I find it fascinating that when
you
they're
can just
like
pick up a building,
you can just pick up a building, and there's not like
structural problems,
structural issues with that. Like it's just you could just pick up a building like it's like a Lego piece.
Absolutely.
I don't understand that. And then
all buildings are like prefab trailers. You just move them from one place to another.
Right.
Yeah.
So when Batman is opening the door and letting some guy out
of the jail,
like he's letting some crook out of Gotham City jail,
and everybody's wearing a hat.
And people wearing hats, yeah.
Because it's fucking 1956.
And we're getting some nice exposition from...
Don Draper is probably leaving this issue of the World's Finest on the side of the road somewhere as trash.
He's probably reading this at a Hojo's.
Yeah, and then he just drops it on the floor and just walks away. Because nobody threw their trash away, apparently, in that show. Anyway.
So
they're like, why is Superman doing that? Why is Batman letting that guy go?
So, because what we see here originally is it's in the on this day when all this stuff starts happening, I guess Superman.
There's a zoo.
There's a zoo that Superman built.
Superman built a zoo.
Superman builds everything.
So Superman basically was like, I saw the movie, we bought a zoo, and I wanted to do that.
But I misread it. We built a zoo.
We built a zoo. So he built a zoo, and he also like just picked up all the animals in his arms like a bouquet of flowers and like dropped him into this fucking zoo.
I'll just shower the zoo with animals. Blah.
Animal petals. And then, so for some reason he's like, oh, now I have to undo this and I have to take the zoo down and build an ark.
Well, I like here.
I'm Noah now.
I like here when he's taking away these animals and it's like he's pushing them like kind of like a sled or something.
Yeah.
And but they're all kind of like lumped together. So he's got like 2 giraffes and like a elephant and a rhino.
Yeah.
And it's just a ball of animals. And he's just shoving it towards this island
do you think that's one of Superman's powers is just like to put animals into a ball like they're fucking silly putty? Just like squish them together.
It's kind of like
Floam. Is it like Floam?
It's kind of like Bawana Beast, who like is supposed to be able to combine animals, but he doesn't combine them. He just kind of smushes them uncomfortably together.
I thought Bawana Beast just combined their traits into him.
No, he combines.
Oh no, you're right. He combines animals.
Yeah,
and that's so fucked up.
Yeah, that's his.
That's why Bawana Beast doesn't show up very often, because when you sit down and think about what he's doing, you're like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation before.
I would enjoy a live action Bawana Beast. I think DC should just be like, you know what? Fuck it. Live action Bawana Beast.
You know, at this point, might as well.
The Rock is Bawana Beast. I'm sorry, fuck, not The Rock, Chris Pratt.
Oh, sure.
Fuck it, let me be Chris Pratt. He's
point.
Mario anyways, so let him be Bawana Beast.
It's me, Chris Prattio.
He's gonna wear a stupid helmet, and he's gonna come just mush a bunch of animals together. Like, all right, you got a fucking rhino giraffe.
So
here it comes.
So is it like, you know when you see like a kid making dolls kiss,
Yeah.
Is that what you do with these animals to combine them?
Yeah,
Or
he kind of
and then you just smash them together?
he kind of just forces them together against their will. I need to read more Bawannabes. I have his very first appearance.
So if they could talk, would it just be that Simpsons quote where it's like, why was I programmed to feel pain?
I would imagine, yes.
Yeah, all life is hell or whatever. Kill me.
Yeah, they just bleat horrible noises.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
So Superman builds an ark, puts all the animals back on this fucking ark.
Yep.
Brings them back to Metropolis,
Yes.
and he's like,
I put them back in the zoo now.
put them back in the zoo.
So he took them out of the zoo to put them on an ark. I don't know, take the ark 10 feet off of the shore and then bring them back?
Because Superman, it's implied that he didn't do it.
He didn't do something correctly.
He didn't do something correctly.
So he has to redo what he's doing.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, I don't know why Superman's doing this thing. This is so weird.
And so then we Lois finds out.
Well, no, because at that same time, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, because Lois finds out, she's like, oh shit, something's going
that's
this
right.
going on in Gotham, and we find out that basically Batman and Robin saved a plane from crashing the day before.
And now they have to redo it.
We had to recrash a plane.
Yeah, because it went into the ocean, so they have to
No, they saved it from going into the ocean.
Oh, and now they have to put it in the ocean?
They have to put it into the ocean and then turn the Batwing into a submarine and then pick up the plane from out of the ocean.
Yeah. So they put it back, they crashed it, and then uncrashed it. Salvaged it, I guess, is what it's technically called. This is uncrash. That's not a thing.
Uncrash.
I know words.
I uncrashed it.
I uncrashed.
Excuse me, I uncrashed my car. And by that, I mean I didn't crash my car.
I am an idiot.
They go back to the Batcave. Metron Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Metron Senior.
Backdoor Metron.
Backdoor Metron.
Yeah, so they're in the Batcave, and it's Robin and Batman, and all of a sudden, Backdoor Metron's like, haha, it's me. Car, blah, 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 blah. What's his name?
Cathar.
Catheter. 5,000 years in the future. I am a historian on you, Batman, Superman. And I'm here to tell you that you guys, he published a book about the things that Batman and Superman did. And then he came back and realized that the way he described them in his book was actually incorrect.
Well, again, people are making fun of him for that.
Yes. And instead of just issuing a retraction, as one would do, he decides to go back in time and make them do the things the way he wrote them. So he isn't wrong. And if they don't do that, then he's going to expose their secret identities to the current day.
So keep that in mind, yes.
So 1956, whatever. So they're like, well, we better call Superman. And this is the funniest thing I've ever seen because I didn't know this was a thing.
Oh, yes.
So apparently a way to call Superman is Batman just turns on the headlights on the Batmobile and it shines a Superman signal in the sky, which he then knows to go to the Batcave.
How powerful are those lights on his car?
He's in Gotham. He's also in a cave, and somehow it goes into the sky of Metropolis.
You can't do that with a car.
I mean, maybe they're laser beams.
The high beam. I mean, high beams are bright, but
maybe he just lasered through the side of the Batcave, and it's just so bright.
We were talking about lasers the other day about how there's not enough lasers going on.
I feel like we should.
I think Batman is actually onto something here.
Yeah, we should really be in a laser-based economy at this point. We're just not, and I don't know what to do with that.
We should pay for things in lasers.
Yes, laser-based economy.
Okay, here's your Starbucks.
I should be able to
zap, 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 zap.
I mean, technically, we have a laser-based economy. We have those laser gun things.
That's true.
But it should just be better.
No, I need lasers that hurt people.
I was going to say, we should be able to, cut things.
I know.
I should be able to go to the store and instead of buying scissors, I can buy a laser.
Yeah.
And I can just laser a piece of paper in half.
Yeah, what the hell are we still cut things with blades for?
What are we doing? I'm saying, we don't have lasers. We don't have flying cars. This is the shittiest future.
For a second here, this spotlight it kind of, when I'm looking at it, I just thought it was like a picture of like a sexy lady.
It just kind of looked like...
Kind of like a mud flap
it does
lady.
look like a mud flap.
But it's just Superman with a cape. And so that means that Batman's got stencils at the ready.
That he just flops on top of his fucking high beams.
That's how he calls all of his friends. He puts do
they all look like sexy mud flaps?
Yeah, he's got a sexy Green Lantern one. He's got a sexy Dr. Fate one. You mean call Dr. Fate?
Halloween all year long. It's sexy everything costumes, right?
I need to call a sexy nurse. Plop.
Stupid sexy Flanders.
I got one for that too.
Oh, I bet he has a stupid sexy Flanders one.
Even though the Simpsons haven't been invented yet.
He's just got it in his back pocket. He's the world's greatest detective. He knows.
He's the world's greatest stencil maker.
He is the world's greatest stencil maker. Yep. And he's using his, like, what is it? I think they're called Cricut printers that, like, cut things like that, cut stencils and stuff. You can buy them at, like, Hobby Lobby and Michael's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know he's not doing it. Fucking Alfred's probably like,
no. Alfred definitely.
Another stencil.
Alfred definitely has a Cricut printer that he uses constantly. Just constant stencils.
Master Wayne wants hamburgers for dinner. I better put the hamburger stencil on the high beams of the Batmobile.
Is that how he communicates to him?
That's his version of Grubhub.
Oh, that is. So like
Bat Hub.
So
Batgrub.
Let's say Alfred's like, do you want hamburgers for dinner? What he would have to do is make a stencil of a hamburger and shine it into the night sky. So Batman would see that it's a hamburger and then he would shine back a thumbs up to say yes.
Yes.
And if it's a no, it's a thumbs down.
It's a thumb-based economy.
Thumb-based communications.
Thumb-based communications. So,
I like this.
No payment takes hands. Actually, just puts a money symbol up in the sky, and that apparently counts as currency.
That's how you call Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you want Batman, you put the bat.
He goes, hey, wait, $1 in the sky. I better go get that.
Yeah, just a money bag.
Yeah.
So if you put the bat in the sky, you want to talk to Batman. You put a money bag in the sky, you want to talk to Bruce Wayne.
That's true.
Yeah, that's how that works.
So anyways, Superman shows up, and of course these two idiots are just like...
They're both idiots.
They're
like,
oh
no.
God, we gotta do everything this guy says. This random Yahoo that showed up on a fucking chair.
This guy who just showed up, Superman, speaking of lasers, could literally laser this man in half. He does not have to do anything this motherfucker says.
Yeah.
He has nothing. He could just break his neck. He
can rip off his arms.
He could do whatever.
So that he can't write anything down.
He could pick him up and go put him on another fucking planet. He could go drop him in the desert. You know what I mean? Like...
It's like, document this, motherfucker.
Exactly. Like, the fact that they're just, like, getting pushed around by some fucking academic with a book is, like, the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no.
Well, so Superman can't, speaking of red lasers, Superman, X-ray, I guess it's the X-ray kind, Superman can't read it because it's covered in lead.
That's right.
So this guy has a lead book. A really, really heavy book.
It is a big book, too. That thing must weigh 1 billion pounds.
Lead book.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker's like, you can't. And so Superman and Batman are like, yo, can we see it? And he's like, no.
And what's really funny is they just, like, give up immediately. They're like, well, I guess we're just going to have to do what he says.
I guess I'm not super strong and I can't rip this out of this man super fast. I can't rip this out of this man's hands.
And read it and see what's going on. Like,
I could read it in the time it takes this guy to fart.
He could literally read it in like the time it took the guy to realize he had ripped it out of his hand. You know what I mean? And I'm like, but so they're just like, well, I guess we just have to do what he says. So let's go undo our magic or our feats, I think they call them or whatever.
Yeah, something here about this. So apparently they had to redo a tornado.
Yes, I think that's the last thing they wanted.
Because they're like, okay, we got to do all this other stuff. But, like, this tornado thing is, like, the most dangerous one. So
yeah, they're like, we actually have to, like, create a tornado in order to do what
we have to put everybody in peril.
And the guy's like, yeah, great idea.
And immediately this happens because Superman, so this guy, Cathar, is like, he's like, yo, look at that dam. According to my book, you only used one big rock, as opposed to multiple rocks.
Yeah.
So you have to take this dam apart and get a big rock.
And try to stop it before it kills a whole bunch of people.
And Superman, of course, does it because he's Superman.
Of course, but at the same time, I'm like, are you not thinking, like, Is your secret identity so important that you're willing to risk the lives of everybody who just lives by this dam?
Superman's a
narcissist?
Narcissist, and
Yeah.
he's just so reckless, man.
He really is. I think that's a really good word for him. He's very reckless.
He continues to be reckless to this day.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, he freezes the dam, and he punches the side of a mountain and gets the perfectly shaped rock.
Yep.
And then throws that down into the dam, and this guy is like filming it.
Yeah.
Because
he wants to have like proof that he was right.
Yeah, he's like, oh man.
I'm like, dude, if you can actually go back in time, why are you fighting over what you wrote in a book? Like,
yeah, right?
Let everybody just go back in time and watch what happened.
Why don't you just go back in time and like stop your detractors from being born?
Or
by hitting them with your lead book.
Or stop your parents from having sex.
Stop your parents. Yeah, right.
I mean, that's probably what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? Maybe not.
You just go around doing some book-based murders.
Oh, absolutely.
Just dropping books on people. Just, these lead books on people.
That sounds fun.
I
think maybe there should be a horror movie about a librarian who just drops books on people.
Actually, that'd be a great one.
It would be.
It'd be like, time to check out. Blop.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what would be a good name for that movie?
Overdue.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Overdue. Yes, and it's just about like some librarian who was murdered in the library on like Halloween, who comes back to start, exacting revenge on the, of course, teenagers who killed her by book-based murder.
Yeah. No, I like that.
I like that a lot, actually. Is that a movie? Can we watch that?
Somebody dies with the library cart.
Oh, the library cart, absolutely. Probably slam somebody through like a glass window that's on the second floor of the library, and then they go like flying to the bottom, and they die.
And then also somebody gets paper cut to death by the Dewey Decimal System carts.
Oh yeah, those all come out, and they totally like stick in them like they're like fucking ninja stars.
Yes.
Yes, this is the best.
She has
movie.
a bandolier of Dewey Decimal cards.
Yes. Oh my god, it's amazing because they just start flying out of the card catalog.
Yeah.
Because she's like a poltergeist.
Oh, she's a ninja. She's a librarian.
Well, she's a ghost because she got murdered.
Yeah.
So now her ghost is coming to take revenge on the kids who killed her, the teenagers, and they're all trapped in this library. And that's when like all the cards come out and like stab a dude like to the wall, and he bleeds to death terribly.
Oh, okay.
Maybe his intestines come out. That could be fun.
Oh, that's good.
There could be the guy who gets killed by the library cart who also gets pushed through a plate glass window, falls to his death, very bloody. Obviously a shelf has to fall on somebody, like one of those like kind of like dominoes. Somebody gets crushed to death under like bookshelves.
Yeah, no, these are good ideas.
I think this is great. Somebody give me money. I could totally make this movie.
Something to do with videotapes or computers.
Microfiche, maybe. Oh, maybe somebody gets stuck in the fucking microfiche machine.
Oh man, so the microfiche turns to blood.
Yeah, so like how somebody like sometimes you'll see where they're like their hair is gonna get stuck in like the ice cream machine or something.
What?
Have you ever seen one of these? Oh, like on the X-Files they did it.
What, somebody got hair got stuck in the ice cream machine?
Yeah, there was like an X-Files where like a poltergeist killed this girl by like she had a long ponytail and she was at a fast food restaurant like working and it got stuck in the ice cream machine. Like it went in there and it like ripped her scalp off.
Okay.
But you could totally do that with like somebody like gets pulled into the microfiche machine. Maybe their skin gets ripped off.
Okay. Yeah, their entire skin.
Well, they could get degloved.
Yeah.
Which is honestly the most disgusting term I've ever heard in my life. When somebody's like, oh, they got degloved, you're like, literally the skin got ripped off their hand.
Yeah, no thanks.
No, it's disgusting. But they could get degloved and then die. Maybe electrocuted.
Okay.
Yeah. This is good.
This is good.
This is a great movie. I'm going to write it.
Yeah. Better do it before somebody else does.
Well, I just put it all out here. Yeah. So somebody's a faster writer than me. Congratulations.
So
I just want to see it.
Superman. So Lois shows up.
Oh,
while
Lois.
this guy's doing all this, watching this Superman put this dam back together.
Yeah.
And she's all like, "Yo, what's going on?" And he's like, "Well, I'm a
time traveler,
and
as you would tell someone."
Yeah, and he's like, "I've got this, this book about Superman and Batman and stuff like that." And and she's like, "Sweet, can I read it?" And he's like, "No, bitch, get out of here."
You know what's so funny about these
But then Superman flies them like he's carrying a pizza.
Oh yeah.
And the Lois and him.
Lois has got her feet like propped up like she's like talking on the phone on her bed.
Yeah, she's having a dreamy conversation with Lana Lang, talking about soups.
You know what I find very funny about these? Maybe not funny, just very interesting about these old books, is that the world that these characters inhabit, they just believe everything. Like nothing phases them. You can be like, I'm a time traveler from 5,000 years in the future. And she's like, cool, can I read your book? You know what I mean? There's like no like,
well, because she's already seen like aliens.
But that's what I mean. Like there's aliens everywhere. Like everybody just like, oh, okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Like no, there's never any like shock or whatever. It's just like, this is the world I live in. I live in a world where time travelers just show the fuck up.
Yeah. So something at the planetarium where they have to like orbit these planets.
Oh yeah, something about like Batman and Robin have to like go from planet to planet in like a specific order to like save something from falling. I don't exactly remember what that part was.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense. But then you get this shot of this panel of Superman carrying both Lois and this guy, and somehow his arm is like super long to accommodate both of them in his arms.
Well, he has super stretchy powers. He was like a Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, he does that too.
Or Inspector Gadget, one of the two.
Yeah, if Superman's stretchy, maybe he could like turning into different shapes. And
stuff. Like a plastic man or like an elongated man type of thing.
Yeah, like he could turn. Maybe he, I don't know. I feel like there should have been an issue.
Did Superman ever get super like stretchy?
I don't think he did, but I feel like that's something that or maybe there's an issue of like these comics from the 50s or 60s that like he's able to like turn his body into like shapes or something.
Like a parachute.
I stuck my finger in this keyhole because my finger can also be a key.
Right, because I mean, I feel like by the end, Superman could literally do anything. Like anything you needed him to do. Like if you needed Superman to like turn into fucking soap bubbles, he could. You know what I mean? He'd be like, I'm soap bubbles now. And you're like, okay, whatever. Yeah. So I would not be surprised if there's some random issue out there where he, I don't know, gets cursed by a genie and now is super stretchy. I wouldn't be surprised. So
next up, Superman. This is where Superman grabs the orphanage.
Oh, yes, because
because according to Dude.
Yep.
He says that
Metron Prime. He said that Superman took the kids from the orphanage to the zoo, I think, right?
He took them on a zoo. He took them on like an outing. He keeps saying outing.
Yeah, he took them on an outing, and Superman just picks up the orphanage and takes the orphanage, and as Lois is standing there still trying to get to read this book, he's like, oh, well, I wrote that he actually carried the orphans, but instead of the whole building. So, like, Superman got his wires crossed on his instructions from this guy.
I would have loved that Superman had to carry every orphan, like, just, like, an entire, like, building of orphans individually and just fly them just, like, but instead of, like...
Was he, like, an Uber?
Yeah, like, he's like, hello, goodbye, you just zip it back and forth with
He's
them.
like, hello, I'm an Uber pool now.
Uber pool.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna turn my body into a pool.
Oh my god! Just Superman with one of those. Remember when Lyft had mustaches on their cars? Those fuzzy pig mustaches. It's like Superman just got one hanging around his neck. He's like, "Hi, I'm your Lyft driver. There's some water in my back pocket if you want it."
Actually, no. I'm just imagining Superman with a big pink mustache and like some kids riding on his back and like being like, "Yo, I got some water. Yo, let me put my USB. I can take that aux cord from you."
If you want to plug your phone in, man, like I got chargers back here. Also, whatever tunes you want, I got Spotify on.
Just
my
don't
cape.
puke on my back.
Superman's got like one of those speakers just like tucked into his cape, and he can just like play whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Oh, Superman's bumping.
Super bumping.
Yeah.
So he grabs this building and flies around with it, and Superman's also worried because because he thinks that Lois is going to want to read the book and get his identity.
Right, because he thinks Lois wants to know who he is, and how is he going to keep Lois from, being as nosy as she always is, and oh my God, blah, 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 blah. So that's what he's concerned about. Instead of just being like, I'm so powerful, I could literally kill everyone on this planet right now.
Yeah.
If I just blinked too hard, everybody was going to die.
So here's some bullshit coming up next, where Batman is supposed to be that Batman has to release a criminal.
Oh yes.
Because he has to recapture him in the way that history was described. And so we see Batman go to the jail and open up the door, and the criminal walks out. Whoever this is, Slaney. This Slaney guy goes to his hideout, and the hideout, and then they're like, "Hey, boss is back. Let's divide up our money." And Batman is watching in the window, and so he gets the police to capture the crew, but the villain is running, and Batman takes chase in the Batmobile, and this is all being filmed. Motherfucker, kayfabes this entire thing.
Of course he does,
because
Batman's a master of disguise.
Batman is a master of disguise, so he disguises himself as this criminal.
He basically looks like Matches Malone.
Yeah. He's a criminal. But inversely, Batman is just Robin.
Yes. In a suit.
Batman skin suit.
Yeah.
In a padded suit. And it's just, and he's taking it off as he's driving the car.
Yeah.
It looks like.
He's wearing that like Shazam suit where it's like big old puffy muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like actually like that. There's too much shit on me. Like it's just
that's exactly what it is.
Just Batman, just Robin just walk around like there's too much shit on me.
Batman's radio. He's like, "All right, Robin, are you a go?" And Robin's just like, "There's too much shit on me." He's just sitting there in that like saggy Batman suit with like all puffy with like styrofoam muscles.
Yeah, right. That's what this guy's just filming. He's just filming Batman just standing there, and he's like, why is he not letting the prisoner out of the jail? And Robin's just like, there's too much fucking shit on me.
I didn't realize when I watched it the first time, but that's a historical document.
Yeah. That was.
I don't know why that's so funny.
Because it's
so funny.
Because it's just a fucking.
It's just he also looks so terrible.
Just this terrible old man outfit, and it's just this guy standing there. Was it? You think? I think you should leave.
I think you should leave
on Netflix if you haven't seen it. It's the second season.
There's too much fucking shit on me.
So
I gotta watch that again.
So. Yeah, so they kayfabe this stuff, because they don't really want to release somebody out into the wild.
Right.
I think that I think the criminal system would have something to say about that, or the justice system should say something about that.
Sure, I guess.
It was like we're letting a perp out just to,
Just call it jail overcrowding and let the dude go. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, right.
It's what we do now.
Throw him in the zoo.
Yeah, Superman threw mashed all the animals together, so they're just like a sad round mass right now.
It's not just a sad round ball of animals going, and then they just throw this criminal in there with those sad ball animals.
There's plenty of space. When you smash all the animals together, you only need like one pen. Everything else is open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just come see our ball of animals here in Metropolis.
Ooh, animal ball.
Do you want to be scarred forever?
Just the idea of it scarred me forever.
So this is where Lois is like, "Hey, motherfucker, let me read that goddamn book." And
she like flirts. Is this where she's flirting with this guy?
He's like, "No, I can't give you this book because you don't want to learn that." He says, "I know what you want to learn, but that secret can't be revealed to anyone in this age."
Yes.
And so Robin and Batman overhear this.
And it's kind of like a light goes off. They're like, oh, wait a second. And Batman's
he
can't tell us. The reason we can't read it is because we can't know exactly what it says, because that would fuck up the past. So he can't change. Like, if he were to tell people who we were, it would change history.
Yeah, it would basically
so he can't
botch his book from the beginning.
Yeah.
So
he was never going to follow through on his threat anyway. He just wanted them to do things for him.
So instead of like cutting this guy in half with his lasers and being like,
which he should have done in the first
or
place.
merging him with the animal ball.
I mean, couldn't he throw him like so hard that he actually like throws him into the future?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a thing.
Superman throwing people into the future.
I mean, he made an animal ball already.
Yeah, he's Ubering orphans everywhere.
I know. He's inventing lift. He's, making animal balls. He's throwing dudes into the future. He's got a really stretchy arm for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this old guy is like, this Cathar is like, well, you were, I feel really bad about this because I'd be making my book now, and I kind of, I ruined this. Mm-hmm. And Bat and Superman's like, no, actually, the way we stopped this tornado that you put in your book was actually the correct way. So you actually do have something right in your book.
Right.
Dude goes away, and the last panel is Lois being like, yeah, I just wanted to find out who Superman married.
Yeah, he didn't. It was like, come on, Lois. Poor
the
Lois.
Investigative journalist Lois Lane.
All she wants to know is who's Superman gonna marry.
I just wanted to know if he
ate a sandwich.
If he was able to stretch himself into the future or something. I don't know.
I know. I feel like if you went back in time to do something, you would just want to know if so-and-so ate their food and didn't waste their food. Like whatever you were doing.
Yeah, I know.
You were like, did they eat that sandwich? And then you'd watch them and you'd be like, good, they ate the sandwich.
Yeah. That's my soup. That'd be like my mutant power.
Yeah, just watching people eat food.
But I can only watch people eat food and make sure they finish it.
Yeah, that's it. And then if they don't, you get very upset. And that's it. That's all that happens.
I make noises as it goes. I go, boo, food.
We were watching the other day, somebody like knocked over a plate of food, and you were like, oh my God.
Yeah, that usually.
Oh, I think it was that stupid fraternity movie because like something happened at the dinner table and like he knocked over his meal.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hate seeing pork chops go to waste.
I know you do. I know.
It's really disturbing.
I know.
Anyways, that is it for whatever book this was. I already forgot what it was.
World's Finest.
World's
81.
Finest, March, number 81 from April 1956. Mm-hmm. I feel like it goes without saying that you would want to read the next issue of World's Finest.
Of course.
Because I would read all the World's Finest. If we had our druthers, we probably would just do an entire World's Finest podcast.
Yeah, we would. Because they're just dumb. And I love them so much for just how weird they are.
Yeah.
There was a lot of shit going on back then.
Mm-hmm.
I respect that.
But yes, thanks for listening, folks. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Angry Hero Sean.
And I'm at Jen Stansfield on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show, Worst Collection Ever, and find us on Facebook. Wait, I messed that up. Email the show, worstcollectionever@gmail.com, or find us on Facebook, Worst Collection Ever, if Facebook is actually working.
Yes.
If they haven't broken it again. Maybe they should, and that would be for the better.
And please rate and review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get the show. If you're on Samsung Podcasts.
Oh, shit. Samsung has its own thing, huh?
Yeah, everybody's got a podcast thing. So if you're on Samsung Podcasts, look for us there.
Yeah.
Give us some love.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks. Oh, yeah, by the way, YouTube, Angry Hero 79. I got a new video up probably by the time that maybe on the day that you get this or maybe the day after. So keep an eye out for that. All right, folks, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.
Bye.